Pylon listeners, we are back getting ready for week 3 of the NFL season, recording this on September 22nd. And we're going to get into previewing all the week 3 games and then give you our best bets, of course. And, I'm just hoping for some better luck going forward here. It's been a rough one.
Looking to get on the board, Big Z.
Anything. I'll take anything at this point. But we'll get into all that a little bit later. But let's introduce the Pylon crew of Big Z representing the Detroit Lions. Then we got Remy representing the Vikings.
Let's go Vikings. New week, new team. Let's get it.
Barney representing the Bears.
What's going on, boys? Justin Fields era officially, unofficially beginning.
And then last but not least, Kinger representing the Packers.
As always, gentlemen, it's good to be back. We are completely refreshed. We've got a brand new outlook on the season. Big game Sunday night. Happy to talk some football with you boys.
All right, gentlemen. So let's get into these NFC North games. Nobody's facing each other, so we got 4 games to talk about. And we're going to start off with the noon game. The Bears, Barney, traveling to Cleveland.
Believe
7-point underdogs, over under 45.5. And I believe there's been some news about the quarterback for this week, right?
Yeah, so right now, Dalton is probably going to be sidelined for at least 2 weeks with that bone bruise. Could go as long as 5 or so. But Nagy has doubled down and said, when he's healthy, he will be the quarterback. I think he's just living in the now and just hoping Justin Fields can run away with it, kind of like Justin Herbert did last year. But, that's Justin Fields is the starter for Sunday.
What kind of offense are you expecting then? Are we expecting a different type of offense out there than what we saw last week against the Bengals?
I would assume so, just because, I almost think it's comical because it's the first time he's actually practiced with the ones his entire time as a Bear, which is just laughable in terms of preparation for your generational quarterback that you're trying to promote and draft. But I hope we change up a few things. I know there will be a few more design, quarterback reads, runs, and whatnot featuring his legs. I really hope Nagy can at least, as a play caller, call protections. Because our offensive line going up against this defensive line of the Browns, that's going to be the one to watch for me, at least offensively. You got, I think, the best rush or pass rushing tandem in the league, probably between Myles Garrett and Clowney. And, obviously you guys know the story of our offensive line. So I'm hoping that, Nagy can at least call protections to mitigate that, deficiency that we have there and give him, just enough time to toss the ball. I know we're going to have to be getting the ball out quickly, but that doesn't mean we got to throw hitches and screens every single play. But I'm excited. I don't think, he's going to absolutely go off by any means. I think that I have a lot of respect for that Browns defense. I think their secondary is young. I think it's talented. But, at the end of the day, Tyrod Taylor, last week, he was really exploiting their defense. They really had no answer for him. With his escapability, once Davis Mills came in, it was a completely different game. And the Browns were able to shut them down and come out with the victory. But, I really like Justin Fields' mobility with, this violent pass rush. I don't know. We'll see. I just hope he has enough time to make some reads and go downfield. But I know he's going to make a few plays with his legs that are going to be in key situations. And that's what's going to have to happen if we're going to win.
And I believe Jarvis Landry for the Browns is on the IR now too. So you escape that. And I don't think Odell Beckham I don't know if he's ever going to play again, honestly. I don't know what's going on with him. But I mean, do you fear this run game, of the Cleveland Browns at all?
Yeah, they got probably the best running back tandem in the league, right? And that's really where this offense gets off. Nick Chubb is an absolute beast. And I mean, there's probably one rusher that I would rather not tackle than him, and that's probably Derrick Henry. But at the same time, the blueprint to stopping their team is kind of like the Vikings. You got to stop the run because Stefanski gets really creative with blending in his play action. He did it when he was with the Vikings, right? And, I think he does a really good job. I think Baker's a solid quarterback, but just like you said, Landry and Odell are out. Those guys are incredible in the slot. And our deficiency on defense is our nickel corner. And everyone exploits them. And the fact that they're without some other, star wide receivers, it gives me a little bit of hope that as long as we can stop this run, we should be in there. It should be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Remy, what are your thoughts on this game? How's it going to turn out?
I thought very highly of Justin Fields until he went to Chicago, and just by default, by being a Viking fan, I never want to, see the Bears do well. I wish you well. I never want to see them do well. I think Justin Fields has to step up in the pocket a little more. I just watched a segment where a couple of times he got sacked. He was just way too far back in the pocket. Or else, yeah, I agree. He is going to. There is going to be a scheme developed for him to where he does take off with his legs. And if I'm a betting man, I'd maybe bet the over in his rushing this game. I don't know. We'll see. But just for the sake of it, I got to say the Bears lose 17-20.
17-20. All right, Kingers.
I think this is going to be a very tough first task for the Justin Fields era here in Chicago. I absolutely don't doubt the kid's abilities and the potential that he's got. I think this, depending on, the outcome of these next few games, I don't believe that he's going to end up surrendering the starting job back to Andy Dalton when the time comes, no matter what Nagy and the Bears organization says. I feel like he definitely has the potential, and he's going to show enough over these next few weeks to really say that he probably does give the Bears the best chance to win. Barney mentioned the Bears O-line is held up pretty decent here through the first couple weeks of the season, but that pass rushing tandem on the Cleveland Browns, as well as the strength in the secondary, I think that defense is going to cause some problems for Fields. We'll see how Nagy schemes up against these guys. I feel like a lot of it is really going to fall on his shoulders. And if he has the ability really to put Justin in a position to be successful, I think it's a tall task. The Browns didn't look great last week, but I think that this is going to probably be a pretty ugly defensive game again. I like it to be pretty low scoring. I'm going to take the Browns 20-14. No, we'll go 20-14. We're going to go with that.
All right. So you have the Bears covering at least.
I do have the Bears. Yeah, do have the Bears covering.
This is 7-point spread. I have it at I think 7's a solid number. I think 24-17 Browns for this one. I do think they keep it close. I think if this game was in Chicago, it might have some upset potential for the Bears. But since this is on the road, I do like the Browns. The Browns defense hasn't been overly impressive necessarily, but I do like them to kind of control the clock in this game with their run game. And I do think Fields is going to have some struggles in his first start here. We'll see some flashes. I mean, he's got the athletic ability to show some flashes, but overall, I think the Browns escape here with the victory. Barney.
Yeah, well, I like everyone saying that we're going to cover. I appreciate that. You're saying we're going to push, but that's if you're keeping your money in your pocket, that's a win in my book too. Guys, I'm going to go. I think the kid handles it. I think he has just a modest day. I don't think he's going to absolutely go off by any means, but I like big time players make big time plays. And I'm going to say Justin Fields leads the offense down for a Kairos Santos kick at the end of the game to win it 23-20.
There it is. We need someone to pick the Bears there, Barney. It had to be you. You're a believer in the Fields era, huh? Starting off 1-0.
Hey, he already is 1-0.
Yeah, I guess.
if you call it like a relief pitcher, Look, when we came in.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on now to the second noon game, and that is the Lions hosting the Ravens. The Lions 9-point underdogs in this game. I'm actually surprised it's not a little higher, especially after the Ravens beat the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, which a lot of people weren't expecting necessarily. In this game, and I think the report just came out.
The Lions at 9.
Yeah, that's what it says on DraftKings right here.
My site has them at 7.5.
I got them at 9.
Okay.
Well,
What
yeah,
site are you using? I mean, a lot of people better go there if they want to bet the Ravens.
Well, that's
so.
what I have my own little offshore guy I roll with. But that's where
supporting
that's
local
where,
business.
yeah, my best bet of the week. We'll talk about that later. But okay, so we'll establish depending on the lines here. But okay, so there's a full 1.5 slip there. Now I feel much better.
Yes. But so Lions 9-point underdogs, over under 49.5. This defense we've seen struggle mightily in all aspects. Run, pass, hasn't really mattered too much. And a Ravens team that seems to be firing on all cylinders, especially on the ground against the Chiefs. There was also the report today that came out that said Collins is on the trading block. He was a healthy scratch at practice today. So it looks like he'll be out of his way. And that is not surprising in the least. If you watch that Green Bay Lions Monday Night Football game, it was brutal. It didn't seem like he was giving 100% full effort either, which seems to be going against everything that Dan Campbell is trying to establish in Detroit. So I am not sad to see that he is on the trading block. He's an athletic dude, but he does not belong in this defense. Look for a trade to the Patriots anytime in the next 48 hours. Because I don't know who else would want him, honestly. But maybe somebody out there does. But he was brought in by Quinn and Patricia. And so far we've seen a lot of those guys go back to New England. So it would not be shocking in the least to see him end up there. But I'd rather see Derek Barnes out there. And I think every Lions fan is like that as well. At least if we're going to play like that, you might as well throw the rookie out there and start learning at the very least. Anyways, in this game, the Lions are just going to need to stop the run, plain and simple. You got to stop the run. Make Lamar Jackson sit back in the pocket and throw the ball. He can make some good throws. There's no doubt about it, but he can also make some dumb throws, which we saw in that Chiefs game as well. And that's been on the book. That's been the book on him for a little while now. Stop the run first and worry about everything else. So I think they're going to load the box, probably with 7 guys, and just play man on the outside. And then as far as the offense goes, I want to see that first half Jared Goff and the second half of the 49ers game Jared Goff. I don't want to see the Jared Goff that, got him traded to come to Detroit in the first place, the guy that turns the ball over too much.
Those Lions would be undefeated if you could gel those guys together.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Man, there was so much, at least on social media during that first half of the Monday night game, there were a lot of positive Jared Goff, and then response, and then in the second half it was about what you'd expect, unfortunately. So, the Lions, 9-point underdogs here. This is gonna be a rough one. I just don't know if we have the defense to stop this Baltimore offense. So I'm gonna say 31-20. The Lions lose this game. I think it's gonna be a rough one. I do not like the way this matches up for the Lions. But Kinger, how do you feel about my boys in the Honolulu Blue?
I think the Lions are in some trouble this week, if I'm being honest. Based on that that Ravens performance on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, I'm sorry, where they came out and that offensive line looked dominant. It looked as good as I think the Ravens offensive line has put up on a single performance here these last couple of years. Detroit showed on Monday night that they're definitely vulnerable still on the defensive side. I think that big emotional win over the Chiefs really is going to propel that Ravens team to really start, getting some momentum here. I don't think,
or they're going to look past us to next week.
That's what I'm saying, and I think the Ravens do. The Ravens do have the potential to have some defensive breakdowns. They play a lot of that cover zero, bring the safeties down into the box. If Goff can make a couple throws, I think there is going to be some openings down the field. That being said, I think the momentum's still there. I don't know if Detroit's really going to come out and compete again for a third straight week. I mean, they competed for a half, against Green Bay. I'm going to go 30-17 Baltimore.
Mm. And the Ravens in the last 3 years have the top blitz rate in the NFL in 18, 19, and 20. And so far in 2021, also the top blitz rate. They blitz over half. I believe it's 55% of the time. So there will be a lot of man. And I know I didn't mention it, but I believe Khalif Raymond, our wide receiver, shifty little guy, is going to have a decent day. I would take his over receiving yards. I haven't seen the line come out yet, but whatever it is, I'm going to be looking for that to grab that. And I think this benefits TJ Hawkinson as well. Like we saw Kelsey go off against the Ravens. I think Hawkinson can have a potential another big game, but that's for fantasy purposes at least. But Barney, what do you think?
I kind of want to echo Kinger's statements there. I think you guys fought tooth and nail. I would say for 2 games. I mean, like, it was an ugly second half, but I didn't see any quit from you guys in that Green Bay Packer game. But at the end of the day, I just think, it's you're bound to lay a dud. And when I'm looking at where these 2 teams fall on the spectrum, I mean, I'd say the Ravens are a top 3 team in the entire league. And, I don't have the most hope for the record and the outcome of the Lions. So I'm going to say 35-20.
Yep. Yeah, our defense deserves these kind of predictions right now, the way they've been playing. But Remy, let's go to you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Barney and Kinger. To be honest, and I'm in a 2 quarterback fantasy league, so I both have Goff and Lamar starting. So I'm hoping there's some scores. I'm gonna go 35-21 in favor of the Ravens.
All right, well there you have it. All 4 of us predicting a loss for the Lions. It's gonna get tough to that 7-9 prediction I had. But I drink the Kool-Aid on my team. But maybe not this week as much per se. Anyways, let's move on now to the 3:00 game. Remy, your Vikings hosting the Seahawks. And let me see here. They were underdogs to start the week. And they're still underdogs, 1.5-point underdogs. Over is 55.5. Wow, for when one team, your Vikings, has one of the top 5 units in NFL history. I'm not exaggerating. That's your words. It's surprised to see a line that high. But I think you said, what do you say? The Vikings are 1-9 on 3:00 games in the last 10.
Some ridiculous, terrible stat like that. So this is pretty much bend and don't break. We're facing a similar team in what we just played with the Cardinals. A quarterback who can run, contain him in the pocket. It seems like we have played at Seattle for the past 7 years, and we finally get them at home. It's our home opener. Crowd's going to be a big factor in this one. So the first thing is Anthony Barr. He's back practicing now, and he hasn't practiced since August 8th. So getting him back and potentially starting as our linebacker is going to help stop the run and try and contain Russell. Daniil Hunter is coming off a monster week as well. Big thing here is you gotta feed Dalvin. You gotta let him eat. You gotta let him eat. You gotta let him eat. That makes it easier for the play action. Throw the bootlegs out, and you need Kirk just to not give up the ball or cause any sort of stupid turnover. And I'm taking the under in this game. Almost every game that I've seen with the Vikings and Seahawks has been low scoring. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I predict in favor of the purple 28. No. Scratch that. 21-17. Another close one in favor of Vikes.
All right. Kinger.
This is one of the toughest games for me to evaluate this week, if I'm being honest. The Seahawks are coming off of really, I think, one of their most brutal home losses ever, blowing, I think it was a 16 or 18-point lead against the Titans last week. Derrick Henry just ran all over them. I think the Vikings, I think that sets up well for the potential for the Vikings to do the same. The Seahawks offense has looked pretty sound this season. And again, talking about that elite defense in Minnesota, I don't know that we've quite seen that yet. The over-under, I mean, Remy, I know you're saying you think it's going to be a little lower scoring. I think the over-under is at 55 right now. I see it being somewhere right around that. It's going to be a close football game. I like Minnesota at home this week. I don't think the Seahawks quite have what they've had the last few years. I'm going to give Minnesota the slight nod and go 30-27 Minnesota at home.
Yeah. All right. 2 for the Vikings there, Remy.
And the
You happy,
over.
buddy?
Love it.
You happy?
Love
Even
it.
your Packers counterpart here picking them.
It's a crazy day.
Yeah, I have 27-23 Vikings as well. I do think they come out fired up. They've been on the road the first 2 games, first home game of the year. I do think this Seattle team has some holes, and I do like the Vikings run game matched up with this Seahawks defense. So I have 27-23. I do think that line's kind of high. It's kind of enticing to take the under a little bit. But yeah, 27-23. Barney?
Man, I don't want to be the guy that goes against Remy when we're all on his side. I just
happen.
I do like the way this shapes up for the Vikings. I have a hard time. Russell Wilson's my favorite quarterback. I have a hard time believing he loses 2 games in a row. That's the only stat that I'm holding them to. But that dude, I mean, you guys are explosive. I almost like the over in this game. Just because when something's so high and when something's so low, I love those. And I'm gonna go. Fuck it, Remy. Wait, you didn't go for the Bears, did you? All right, I'm back on the Seahawks. Let's go 28-27 Seahawks.
Oh, another heartbreaking loss. It sounds like for the Vikings.
Oh my God!
How far of a field goal is Greg Joseph going to miss in this game, Remy? To lose the game,
probably 25 yards, an extra point worth, or an extra point that cost us the game. So there you go, Barney.
Yeah. All right. So that's 3 for the Vikings and 1 for the Seahawks. Let's get to this last game. That is Sunday Night Football. Kinger, the Packers traveling to San Francisco, where they've well, the last time they went there, right? Was that the game where they ran all over them in the NFC Championship? Was that the last time they played?
We played in San Fran last year and won the game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, bad year for San Francisco. But anyways, 3-point underdogs, over under 50.5. What are your thoughts going in this one?
San Fran's a team that, every time it seems like they play Green Bay, we get ourselves in for a dogfight. And they're a team that really, I would say, over the last 5 to 7 years has taken advantage of Green Bay and really been one of the few teams to exploit them. Obviously we take a look back at a few of the playoff games between San Fran and Green Bay. The NFC Championship 2 years ago was an absolute rout. They bounced back last year and did end up winning the regular season game on the road. But Kyle Shanahan versus his buddy Matt LaFleur, even before LaFleur, it just seems like that the Niners know how to exploit the Packers defense. And if you look at the offensive side of the ball for San Francisco, I mean, they have some good players, right? I mean, I think Deebo Samuel's a beast. I mean, Mostert, before he gets hurt, he's a Purdue guy, so I love him. I mean, his yards per carry has been off the charts here the last few years. Thomas has stepped up this year. I'm sorry, not Thomas. Elijah Mitchell stepped up this year. Kittle obviously at the tight end position. They've, along with a pretty good offensive line, they've got some weapons. But with the I guess the lacking of the elite quarterback position with Jimmy Garoppolo, it hasn't been, I don't think, what the Niners fans and quite honestly what that organization really expects, right? But when they play Green Bay historically, we've somehow managed to make that offense look like it's, top 3 in the league. The last 4 times Green Bay has played San Francisco, they've scored 30 or more points. And you look at the defensive struggles that we've had this year thus far, I mean, minus the second half of the Lions game on Monday night, it's not in a position where I am feeling overly confident that we're going to step up and shut it down, right? Jimmy G just hits you with these short passes to death all day long, and then occasionally you'll get a deep shot. I mean, they've done pretty decent against the run. I think the defensive side is that's been maybe one of their strengths. We're going to see who we trot out at the cornerback position this week. I hope we get Eric Stokes in there again. He's actually one of the highest. I think he might be the highest rated rookie corner, highest rated rookie corner thus far this year. So it's really going to be on us to just hopefully Jimmy G makes a mistake or two. And I think we really got to focus on, stopping the run. We'll see what happens with those running backs with Mitchell and Sermon, and B, just, make Jimmy G make the deep throw, make them beat us on an explosive play. That's what I want to see this week. We finally started to have a little bit more tight coverage, press coverage, the line of scrimmage in the second half of that Detroit game. I want to see a lot more than that. I think San Francisco is going to get their shots. They've got some of those playmakers. Jimmy, I think, will step up and make a throw or two. But we can't let this offense just tear us apart. I mean, they looked terrible, quite frankly, last week versus the Eagles. Their defense is the only reason why they ended up winning that game. So I think that's going to be critical, and we're going to, hopefully we can step up and prevent that this time. On the other side of the ball, the Niners defense is good, right? There's just no other way around it. They got playmakers all across the board. Bosa's a beast. Fred Warner, I think, is the best linebacker in football. And we could potentially be dealing with some offensive line issues. Big Elgton Jenkins did not practice today. They say he's dealing with a lingering ankle issue. And we are going to wait and see. They said they're going to give him a week to rest, and he's going to be a game time on Sunday. So if Big E is out, there are concerns with that offensive line. I'll tell you. What I think would happen is John Runyon Jr. stepped in for Lucas Patrick, who had a terrible first week. He did pretty solid at left guard last week. I assume we'll flip Billy Turner over, swing him out to left tackle, and maybe Dennis Kelly, who we signed earlier in the offseason from Tennessee last year, maybe dump him in at right tackle. But not having Big E in there, being down potentially our two best linemen versus that defense is definitely concerning. And Rodgers hasn't played great historically, so we're gonna wait and see. I'm very high on our center, Josh Myers. He's looked good this year, but if we're down Jenkins as well, there's going to be a definitely some concern on my end. Green Bay's getting 3.5. I don't know. I haven't been decided if I think this game is going to be high scoring or low scoring or not. I don't. I like the Packers with the points this week. I do. I'm gonna go ahead and go out on the limb here and say I think we are going to win the football game. But I'm not overly confident in it in Sunday night, San Francisco. If you ask me to give a prediction right now, I do think Rodgers in the offense continues to get some momentum. I'm going to go 24-21 Green Bay.
All right. Remy, the Packers going to win?
No, absolutely not. Packers are never going to win. And I have the 49ers defense in fantasy, so I'm going to go 17-28 in favor of San Fran.
All right. Barney.
I think, Kinger, you said you don't know if this is going to go high scoring or low scoring. I felt the same way up until you brought up Big E, and that worries me.
It's yes, definitely, and it should. I think everybody's worried about that. Yeah,
especially with Bosa coming out. It's not like you have a left tackle like Penei Sewell,
Yeah,
to mitigate that loss. But it's just for me, dude. He doesn't bode well usually in San Fran. I think 3.5 points is like crazy to afford, Aaron Rodgers. So I like that a lot, but without the pass protection, I like a low scoring game in this. I'm going to say 23-17 Niners.
I do like the 49ers in this one as well. I do. I don't like this Green Bay defense still. And Joe Barry, how's this guy keep getting hired, Kinger? I don't understand. Quite honestly,
he's really only had one stint as a D coordinator in Washington when Washington was ass.
He was the Lions D coordinator when they were 0-16.
Oh okay. No,
I didn't know that actually. Really?
Yeah. It got so bad at one point that a reporter in Detroit asked Rod Marinelli, the head coach, who is also his father-in-law, that does he wish that his daughter married a better defensive coordinator?
Oh wow,
that guy got fired, but it was a really funny question actually. Anyways, I just haven't liked what I see out of this defense so far. I like San Francisco's offense, the way they run us, and this is their first home game too. So I like them to win this game. I think I had it 26-20. I think I had was my score. So, especially if the Jenkins is out, I really don't like it then.
He's going to be game time, so we'll wait and see. But he just popped up on the injury report today.
Even if he's healthy, I don't like it. But especially if he's out, then I really don't like it.
I can almost guarantee a touchdown by Devontae Adams, though. I think he was kind of pissed he didn't get one.
I can't believe he didn't get one last week.
He hasn't gotten it. Yeah, I think that's a good bet too, or Barney.
All right, gentlemen. So that's our thoughts on the NFC North games. Now let's get into our end of the week segment. That, of course, is best bets. Barney, Give us the standings. You can skip the person that's in last place, so that's all right.
Oh, no, we wouldn't want to do that. Big Z looking for his first W.
I
Hey,
got it. Don't worry.
I know you do. I'm gonna wait till I hear yours because I'm just gonna copy them all because I think you're just bound to win. But you're down at the bottom. Kinger and I are 3-3. And Remy, the
Remy!
hottest of the group at 4-2 right now. 6 bets for everybody. Let's go in that order. Big Z, what are you thinking?
All right. Well, I got creative with my first one here, all right? Because I'm tired of, not getting creative enough, I guess, if you will. And something's got to give. So I'm doing a 3-team 7-point teaser, all right? And that is, I'm teasing the Bills. This is a 7-point teaser. Odds are plus 130. So I'm teasing the Browns to a pick 'em, the Cardinals to a pick 'em. They are on the road at Jacksonville. And then I'm teasing the Bills down to minus half a point. So pretty much they win and I win. So those three got to happen for this to hit.
And what are the odds on that?
That's the plus 130. Plus 130. So I really like that. I'm confident in it. I already put it in. So I'm riding high on that one. The second one, I can't believe, the Buccaneers, only 1.5 point favorites. They actually, I think it opened up as underdogs, and now it's moved to 1.5. But I would expect this to keep moving, actually, in the Buccaneers' favor, because I don't think you're going to find another time all year where you can get the Buccaneers at minus 1.5 points. So I really like that one. And then my third one is the Falcons as 3-point underdogs against the Giants. I think they showed something a little bit last week against the Buccaneers. I really don't like that Giants team as long as Jason Garrett's the offense coordinator and Daniel Jones is their quarterback. That just continues to be a catastrophe. And I think this Falcons team could do enough. And I think they're a little undervalued because of their first 2 weeks as well. If they moves up to 3.5, I will. I'm kind of waiting on that.
How many
one,
people are just continue to get burned on the Falcons? Their team that everybody.
I will not be that this week.
Yeah.
I thought long and hard about these, Kinger. Long and hard. I look for the value, and I think I got it. I think I got my 3 right here. 3-0, baby, back. But I really like that teaser. That's my favorite one.
All right, Kinger.
Kinger, go ahead. Yep.
Okay, so we got a little line controversy here. But my first best bet of the week is I'm going to take Baltimore. I have it at 7.5. Honestly, I'll go all the way up to 8.5 or 9, to be honest. Whatever you guys want to give me here, I'll take Baltimore even by double digits. So whatever you guys want to put on the screen this week, I'm good with. I'm locked in at 7.5 on my site already. So I'm going to take Lamar and that offense that's rolling. Second game, this is a little bit of a interesting stat to me that I didn't know, but you guys, if you could guess, since October of last year, which NFL team do you guys think has covered the least amount of games?
The least? The Jets.
Since last year.
Oh, no. I'll just say the Jets. I don't think it's the Jets, but that was my first answer.
I'm going to go Kansas City.
You got it. We don't.
Oh, he got it. Kansas City?
Sorry, Remy.
Probably the most bet on team, too.
I was actually going to mirror Barney with Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I didn't have it.
Since October of last year, the Chiefs have covered 4 football games, boys. 4 football games.
Interesting.
And I'm going to tell you something. I don't like what I'm seeing out of this Chiefs defense to start.
It's bad.
They let up 29 to the Browns. They let up 36 last week to the Ravens. They've got the Chargers this week, and they're laying 6.5 points. I think the Chargers should have won that game versus Dallas last week, except they just continue to have some egregious penalties. The Chargers have historically, played the Chiefs pretty well here these last couple of years. I like Herbert. I like what that offense is doing. They've got a ton of weapons, and I think they continue to have the ability to run the ball, as well as, Herbert tossing it around to a plethora of wide receivers. I'm going to take the Chargers plus 6.5 this week in the first AFC West showdown. I don't know if they're going to win the game, but I like them to cover and make it close. Third game, I'm taking the Bears-Browns under again, 46. I think the Browns have put up 30 points or 29 week 1. I think it was 30 or 31 last week. They're playing the best versus the Texans, 33, I think it was last week. They're playing the best defense they've played this far in the Chicago Bears. I like that offensive line, but ultimately, I think that the Bears defense still has the potential to be a pretty good unit, minus the couple slip ups in that week 1 performance. Justin Fields' first week out there versus a pretty good Browns defense as well. I like a lot of punts in this game. I said it was going to be low scoring. I picked it 20-14. I don't know if it's going to go quite that low, but I think 46 is a lot for rookie QB's first week versus a pretty good defense. And ultimately, I think the Bears are gonna get some stops out there. So I'm going to take the Bears under again. We'll see if I get burned twice because I've already got them twice in the best bets this year. So we'll see what happens.
All
right.
Boys, I'm gonna go with that game. I think just start us off Bears +7. I think we are such a streaky team that I think we're going to come out with a little bit more charisma. I think the defense is going to come out and play a little bit better. I think the team's just going to believe in Believeland a little bit more. I'm not saying we're going to win this, although I do think we will. But I think 7 is a lot, especially with all their wide receivers down right now. So Chicago 7, my first one. The next one, I really like the under in Indianapolis versus the Tennessee Titans. Both teams really like to run the ball. Those are usually quicker games. The dynamic pass catchers from the Colts, like T.Y. Hilton, they're done. He's not who he is, and I don't even think he's playing. But Pittman's there, and then as far, it's Eason right now playing quarterback, right? Carson Wentz is out. I don't know. I don't see a lot of points going up in this game. I think it's gonna be a quick one. Under 48 is my lock there for myself. And then, man, I really wanted to choose that Baltimore Ravens game, but I'm going to try to choose a different one here. So as I look through, I don't know. All right. You know what?
Ride the Ravens with me, Barney. Ride the Ravens.
I do like the Ravens. I like the Ravens a lot. You know what? Fuck it. I'll rock the Ravens with you.
Let's ride the Ravens.
All right, Remy, tell us how you're going 3-0.
Yeah, so I currently have an 8-leg parlay that if all of it hits, I am a very rich man. I will take the first 3 out of the parlay that will be my best bets. That's first, the Houston Texans +7.5 against the Panthers. Not so
Davis Mills.
Panthers.
Davis Mills, baby.
Exactly. Brandon Cooks has got to keep getting me those fantasy points. I believe that they will cover. But
my fourth best bet would have been the Carolina Panthers destroying the Texans team. But
second, I have the Cardinals -7.5 against the Jaguars. Kyler's very good. Trevor Lawrence hasn't really done anything to woo me yet. So I think they throttle him. And the last game, I'm actually going to take the over in that Colts-Titans game. I somehow believe this game goes to OT, and I hit it that way.
So you're resting your bet is based on if they go to overtime?
I bet that they have to go to overtime. No, it's just I just think that's how it hits as it goes to overtime. That's how it's
I love that. I'm actually gonna throw just a little bit of Skrilla on that. The game's going into OT.
I would actually find it hilarious if it went to overtime and it just ended in a tie. Nobody scores.
Doesn't hit. Yeah, no.
Boy. So, all right there, gentlemen. Those are our best bets for week 3. I can't wait to see how it turns out. But everybody, follow who you think is the most correct. Make those bets this week. I know I'm turning around at the very least personally, so I would follow me. Anyways, I digress. Gentlemen, Instagram, The Pylon. Twitter, The Pylon Pod. Listeners, please follow us on there. Please comment, what are your thoughts? What are your best bets for the week? Do you have something different than us? And just your thoughts on the weekend in general. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and please leave a review. We'd really appreciate that as well. I believe we'll have an episode coming out. We'll be recording right after that Sunday night game next week, and then just get ready for that. So all our reactions to week 3 and everything going on there. Otherwise, gentlemen, listeners, I hope everybody has a great weekend ahead of them. Barney, Notre Dame 6.5-point underdogs playing at Soldier Field.
I love it.
Are you going to the game?
No, I'm not, but I will be getting plenty drunk for it.
All right. So thank you everybody for listening, and we hope you have a great weekend. All right.
Bear down.